Okay. Well, ready for a anime State of Union, guys?
All right, and making sure it's loaded. We are loaded.
Oh boy.
Uh, all right, it says we're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah,
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Outpost 1018 podcast, anime podcast for February 2020. It's 2022. Uh,
Finally.
already confused. Anyway, I'm your host, Neo Tokyo Tempo. Everyone, introduce yourselves.
I am Getsuryu or Josh.
I'm Baron or RJ.
Don't be shy.
Yeah,
All right.
don't be shy.
Neko ni.
Neko.
Okay, I'm gonna break the silence. Welcome, you amazing and beautiful people. Carol Neko's here. We're gonna have a State of the Anime Union.
Go Lewis.
Striker, the name is Striker Red. Yes.
I'm
What
more or less
on-
giving up the
what
title
on
red.
earth
Rip
was
headphone
that?
users.
Yeah, rip headphone users. What was that?
It's a tribute to Beetlejuice from ReZero.
All right. Well,
It's
we're not
okay,
watching.
he's just burning out.
We haven't watched ReZero this month.
No,
This month we watched Demon Slayer, Mugen Train, the movie. If you haven't, if you don't know what Demon Slayer is, I don't know. Watch our podcast on that. I'm not gonna go through it a second time.
Man, what rock you
Uh,
were living under.
Yeah. Welcome. This is this
The
thing
21st
called
century.
anime. I don't know if you've heard of it before. But anyway, so let's just dive straight in, since I would hope anyone watching this has already seen the show. So let's dive straight in. What do you guys think of the animation?
I mean,
All right.
do we have to say anything about animation by a very, 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 very good studio like Ufa Table?
Well, I have a few things to say. For one thing, of course, I am going to forever be salty. I will never stop being salty about 3D CGI. It is never going to not annoy me. So I'm going to point it out every time. However, the CGI does look a lot better than it normally does in anime. That being said, there are some portions where there are CGI backgrounds, which I thought would have looked a lot better as paintings, because it kind of they tried to hide it, but there's a couple points where like the trees look like they're from early 2000s video game.
Or from Tales of Arise.
Yeah, something like that. But that being said, the train CGI does look pretty good for CGI.
I mean, it looks like a train.
Yeah. Well,
That's already
I
a
think.
plus.
I think the one of the big things with 3D modeling is lighting. Like good lighting could make a bad model look good, and bad lighting can make a good model look bad. And they definitely blended the light with all the 2D animation very well, and it does at least fit.
Yeah. It. I guess the best thing you can say is, if you take the show and you like the animation in the show, this is a movie. It's higher budget. They have more to work with. They have more money. to do, and I was talking to my fiance this morning about this because we were just rewatching it just so it was like fresh in my mind, and she was saying that this has some of the best fight scenes that she's ever seen. I would disagree, but for her who watches as much, if not more, anime than I do, to say that is a really good statement. It really comes off as like how well done this is. I would definitely put it in the top 5 at the moment, though. So
Yeah, the fight scenes definitely looked very fluid. They're I can distinctly I've like images in my head of them fighting on top of the train, and it does look quite good. And there's a lot of like really fast and sort of yet at the same time weighty moves. And they were doing some pretty interesting things. One of the things that I like in a shonen anime like this is that they like all the characters have like gimmicks for how they fight, and this definitely does that. So it makes that combined with the really good animation makes the fights look feel quite good. And there's a lot of parts where characters are moving really, really quick. And it's all shot and animated very well so that you can always tell what's going on. I never got lost in any of the fights like I sometimes do.
yeah, and like also adding in that there were a few of the fights where it was switching between different people, and like one-on-one fights are a lot easier to choreograph, but there was a lot of like
Yep.
2-on-1, 3-on-1s,
Don't
where
forget the fucking transformation.
yeah, like all of that was so seamless in a fight scene that compared to many other animes, whenever like they're trying to like switch out and do everything, there was a lot of fluid motion in it. There was a lot to go on. I guess another thing we can kind of touch on animation wise was there was slight different animation styles between their dreams. And,
Oh yeah.
and that showed expertise in different styles. It showed that this medium works in these different realms. There was a couple that I didn't really like as much. I thought that like the realism with the anime on top of it didn't sit well, but I also had that same issue with like Kingdom Hearts. So I mean, you know, like it's something that's kind of normalized at this point, but either you like it or you don't.
Yeah.
I'll
Go ahead.
be frank with you guys. I always wondered why is it that the movies have mostly larger budgets than actual TV series in comparison, and it's because considering the fact the budget was $13.5 million, and they got twice, not like 5 times the budget on the box office, proved that this movie was really well done. It was actually the hottest selling movie in 2020 in theaters. Like goddamn, and I can see why, even with all its flaws. But yeah, I'm definitely not being paid by Ufotable for shilling this movie. I swear to God. No, but
Are you sure?
Bet.
Bet
I mean,
$20. All right.
I'm afraid I'm broke.
cheap. I'm like, you could pay me $10 and I'd review your shit well. I mean, what?
No, no.
$20 is $20.
Yeah, exactly.
What else will you do for $20?
Hey,
Well,
don't
that would
talk
be
about
$300.
I'll be honest with you. I actually agree with what Will said regarding bad CGI, because in the case of Golden Kamui, when we tore apart
The
that
bear.
one bear, and that was terrible CGI. It was so over detailed that it gave me PTSD for once from seeing it. This, however, the train was actually decently done for what it was.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, the train just the train really did like look good. I'd rather it be 2D animated, but it did look good.
They put a lot of focus on that.
Yeah,
They'd have to because it's the fucking stage for the entire arc.
yeah. There were some things that were definitely unnecessary as far as making it CGI. For instance, I distinctly remember a scene with Tanjiro, where he's walking away from the camera, and they made that CGI for some reason.
Yeah, what was that deal about?
I don't know. Demon Slayer or not Demon Goblin Slayer did that a few times too.
Yeah.
I don't know why they
I
do that.
think it's, like if you have a budget and you're gonna play with it, you're gonna fucking play with a budget.
Dude,
Like
wow.
that's how this kind of works, especially in the anime world. So they had way too big of a budget. They're like, oh, this looks cool. I think there is something where, like Japanese animators are just like in love with CGI for absolutely no reason.
They mostly do it for cost-cutting reasons more than anything else. But I personally like the dream world sequences that they had, especially Tanjiro's being the most aesthetic.
Yeah.
And if there's something animation-wise that I wanna actually commend Ufotable on, is the morphing of the train during the last hours when it was so seamless.
I'm going to disagree. I think as far as CGI in this movie goes, I think that looked a lot worse than everything else.
Yeah.
'Cause with CGI in anime, like I'm not gonna say good because I don't think there is good CGI in anime. But
you can say it's
if you're
passable. It's passable.
If you're going to do it, the best way to do it is to make it so that it's as unobtrusive as possible. It looks as much as possible like the rest of the animation. And I found that a lot of the time it was a lot of the time during that transformation sequence it really clashed with the 2D work that was also going on.
Yeah.
I
That's
see.
always my biggest issue, is like having those clashes. That's why I even brought up how like Kanjiro's like dream world looked, with like that great sky rendering, and it's just it fit for what was needed to show. And it also, I think it worked only because it was supposed to be, it's like, this is how pure he is, that like you're supposed to feel out of place. So because you were supposed to feel out of place in that area, it worked. If it was just to show like amazing CGI, it wouldn't have worked. Yeah, there was definitely better CGI moments throughout the entire anime.
Yeah.
So, but like that was one
Uh,
that only worked because the clash made sense.
mhm.
Um,
So it's at least passable.
it's
Uh,
passable only because of context.
yeah.
Yeah. I think for the most part the CGI, because we expect to see CGI in anime nowadays, unfortunately, and I think for the most part the CGI is quite passable.
Yeah.
So let's move on to sound design.
Yeah,
Unless
if anyone
anyone
wants to.
has,
Yeah.
yeah, unless anyone has any more takes about animation.
So about CG and
I
in
just
general,
oh good.
there's a good film that none of you watched because you're old and stuff like that, called Ballet, or The Dragon and the Princess, as the proper name is. Thanks, English translation. Uh, that film is like 60% CG or 50% at least. Now, while it looks pretty good, if you look at the budget of Ballet, that's like twice as much as this one. And the question is like, how did you manage to screw up so badly in Ballet and not do the proper job in a lot of CG as a selling point? While Ufotable, while not perfect, did pretty adequate job with CG while having $13 million. What is it? 13 million bucks? 15 million bucks, something like that. In
Yeah,
the budget.
50.8.
How could you? How did you manage to do that? Like, how? As far as the rest of the visuals, it's the same as the show with a few like shots that are composed better and stuff like that. It's not that different, but I would say it looks better in certain places, but not by much. Meaning that you still have the same problems and the same adventures, the same disadventures from the prior TV show and OVAs and stuff like that. So that's
Yeah.
just my two cents.
I guess the best way, whenever we're even talking about any of this, is did it do a better job than the anime? Because
No.
like whenever you're going to a movie, like I saw this in theaters, and
Mhm.
it's would a normal episode look as good as how I saw it in theater? And while I know what you're saying with no, the fight scenes were better.
Well,
And
yeah.
whenever you're going to go see this, like, yeah, there's some, hokey parts and just, the normal, uh, like, anime issues with anime movies. But whenever you're watching those fight scenes in a movie theater, there was such a big impact, and you also can't change the style so much so that it goes away from the original piece. So like there's not too much more that I could have seen them draw, like, animation wise and draw wise, that would have been better. So
Yeah.
that would
Well,
have
it's
been
more just like a shot technique and all of that stuff. It's not necessarily the quality of animation itself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
because otherwise it's
Yeah.
the same as the show.
I don't
Mind you, it's not
I don't
criticism. It's it's
Yeah.
a lot of films can do way worse than that, and
Yeah.
they do.
I don't have as fresh of a fresh enough of a memory of how the original show looked to argue against that. So
Yeah.
but anyway, let's move on to sound design.
Yeah. That's kind of why, like, what I was gonna say is, sound design wise, I don't see an improvement. It was just as good as the show.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what I said about sound design in the show. I don't remember. It was a while ago.
I think what we said was it was really good. Like everything sounded like it had impact. Everything sounded great. Most of us like the soundtrack for what it was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There was what I particularly remember was at the beginning of Tanjiro's dream. There was a he was like walking through a snowstorm in the woods, and there was a particularly good piano piece that I really liked. There was also near the end another piano piece that reminds me of a certain Japanese song. If I could just remember what it was. Subasa wo Kudasai. It reminded me of the original version of that. The piano in the intro to that song. But I'm not even sure why. Maybe it was just in the same key or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a track at the end that made me think of that. But yeah, it wasn't necessarily that the music was particularly good, but it was used very well. There weren't any times that I noticed them using the same track twice. First of all, maybe they did and I just didn't notice, but I didn't notice. And second of all, like the scenes that they used music in, like the music was very not just appropriate, but like it would genuinely uplift the scene quite well. Like that part where Tanjiro is walking through a snowstorm, that very moody piano piece that's happening while he's doing that really elevated the scene quite well. I liked it quite a bit.
I will say regarding the voice acting is still somewhat at the top as the series, and I like it. Especially Yoshitsugu Matsuoka as Inosuke.
Yeah, the voice acting is it, at least in the Japanese version, it's all quite good. As it usually is in the Japanese version.
And
And they you can tell like some of the voice actors are just absolutely nailing dramatic scenes, and some of the voice actors, like some like playing the more comedic parts, are just having a ton of fun.
yeah, especially Natsuki Hanae with in that scene with Rengoku.
Yeah,
That
and
was one of the most emotional parts in that movie.
the guy playing Inosuke was killing it for the whole movie. He was just doing. Inosuke's Inosuke was really good in this movie. You could really see all the aspects of this ridiculous character's psyche coming through in just glorious comedy, and even where there's a scene where like everyone's crying,
Yeah,
and he managed to take this comedic character, this completely ridiculous character, and make him like and make the sound of him starting to like burst into tears into something that's like both kind of funny and kind of sad at the same time. It was really good. That guy who like that guy, 10 out of 10 voice actor. He's just great.
Well, keep in mind that this is the same guy who played Beetlejuice in the first season of ReZero. So same energy.
Yeah, I
Who
was
is
gonna
that
say.
again?
I was gonna say, did you guys watch it in English or dub?
No,
Dub.
Yeah, I watched it
Sub.
in Japanese.
Okay.
Japanese.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah. I was gonna say completely forgot I should have watched it subbed because I saw it in theaters dubbed, and then I watched it again just to refresh dubbed. So I have no idea how good his voice acting was. I know that the voice actors for the like dub are actually really good too.
Yep.
So like there's
but-
no complaints either way.
I got
Yeah.
a question.
Yes.
Did Zack Aguilar actually do as good as Natsuki Hanae regarding Tanjiro in the crucial scenes of the movie?
Sorta.
I was gonna say not as good, but I mean, he's still a very high level voice actor. So like it's
Yep.
not it's not where if you're comparing them, it's not gonna be like a 5 out of 10 versus a 9 out of 10. It's like an 8 versus a 9. You know, like it's you're not peaking the same way, but it's still really good.
Speaking of voice actors, I have an announcement to make. I remember when I was saying that I fucking hated Zenitsu. I no longer do after watching a bunch of videos of him and Akari Kito just having fun on the movie interviews.
His dubbed voice actor whenever he's asleep is one of the funniest things because it's just like so dark and like so like I like it's like I will protect you, and then just like
Yep.
back into like his like childish like I barely being able to speak. It's so great. His voice actor is really fucking good.
I mean,
Dude.
they spent a lot of money on these people, so
Yeah,
they're-
they better be really
yeah.
fucking good. But like
Sony this time actually didn't fuck that up.
yeah, well I mean they also had to use the voice actors from the TV show, so
Well, yeah, and
So-
they were good then, so you know.
yes.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hiroshimono is fucking chaotic, and I love every single moment of it. When I was watching the movie, especially the comic scenes when he's when this dude starts coming into his dream realm, and he starts acting like a fucking psychopath.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was fucking dying of laughter when I was seeing this dude coming behind him with a fucking bunch of head scissors. Oh, sorry, with the head scissors, man.
Yeah.
Going.
I was gonna say, should we move to the plot since we're talking about the characters and we already know all the characters?
Time for the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can sort of we can sort of
Mm.
talk about plot and characters at the same time. We have about 20 minutes to kill.
Yeah.
Or
I
yeah, about
About
20 30 minutes to kill.
Yeah. So.
I was gonna say something about Akari Kito, but let's be honest here. Most of the time, she's just doing the noises for Nezuko, and yeah. What else am I gonna say about her? To be honest, funny thing though, this movie came out on her 26th birthday on October 16, 2020.
Yeah.
Imagine imagine it this way. I mean, I said it more than 5 times already, but imagine you're a voice actor, right? And then you had to deal with the fact that your biggest birthday gift happens to be the fact that the movie you acted on comes out in theaters.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean that could be a good birthday gift. That also might mean you have to
deal
you
with the
have to,
criticism. It goes with the territory.
well that might mean you have to end up going to like premiere events or something.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
on your
And
birthday.
if you don't like premiere events, that might not be a fun thing for your birthday.
Yeah.
But this girl's 26. She
yeah,
looks,
27.
she looks like she's 22. Anyway, or maybe it's an old photo. Anyway,
Nope.
yeah, Nezuko. That must be a hard role to play because you have to not only be able to do like these grunts and snarls and whatnot to make you and and in a way that really displays like how the character feels. But you also have to do a decent, anime girl voice.
Yeah.
Dude,
I
But
was gonna say, I'm not gonna say which voice actress it was. I don't like her anymore. So we're just gonna leave the name out. But I had a conversation with a voice actress about how they really like doing roles where they don't talk much and they have to express it in like different ways, because it adds a challenge and it makes it more fun. Because then you're worried more about like practicing your tonals than you are practicing like just like these big speeches and like trying to like get those points across that way. So while it's like, yeah, the show is a lot of range, it also, for them, it's a lot of fun because they get to
Oh,
be
yeah.
crazy. They get to be off the wall with it, like just doing these small things.
I'll be honest with you. Oh no, you were talking about
Yeah,
that you
that's
were.
who
yeah.
I was talking with.
Yeah.
that shit.
Oh no,
yeah,
that's someone
we
else.
yeah,
Still.
anyway, the plot of the show or the movie, it's kind of like a really long episode of the show.
yeah.
That's pretty much
S-
what it is.
yeah. Um and to be honest, maybe it's more like 3 episodes of the show. It's sort of like an arc.
Mhm.
But it's what the hell was I gonna say? Oh, um, yeah, it's like it's like 3 episodes, and it really hits like every sort of bullet point of what you would want in an arc of Demon Slayer
Yeah.
quite well. You have all the action. You have the more poignant and get your feels ready moments, and you have the more comedic stuff that that sort of breaks everything up. And you have some cool villains with interesting powers. Well, you have one cool villain with an interesting power, and then you have another villain that's stronger, but he doesn't seem to have any particular power that's all that inventive, other than he can like throw
Regen.
punches from a distance.
Regen really well.
Yeah, regen really well as well.
Well,
And he's
Oh,
fast,
and he's
really
tough.
fast.
Like he took sword hits that he shouldn't have been able to take. So,
Yeah.
Akaza was insane, man. I mean, he was actually more powerful than Enmu, the guy who basically the guy who can control dreams.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah. Let's since the villains are more or less new characters,
Yeah, we can just talk about that.
let's
Well,
talk about them real quick.
I guess we can talk about the plot, and then because we're talking about the characters, like they're
We
the
can incorporate them.
essential thing about the plot. Like fighting him was the main part of that plot.
Yeah, that's that's the main thing.
So this
The plot is basically they go on a train and they fight 2 demons. And the train dies. It like
the one
derails.
demon is a sleep paralysis demon basically, and fuses himself with the train that they're on, and the other demon is I train every day, like taijutsu guy sensei. Fuck it, like that's
Gains all day, every day,
gains
and
every day. I want to keep fighting the strongest person. You should also become a demon so that I can practice fighting you every day, so that I can get stronger too. Imagine how strong I can get. That was that's the last guy. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I found Enmu's powers to be quite interesting, or like interesting to make a good plot out of them going on a train and fighting demons.
Yeah.
Because he caused all these dream sequences for the characters, which went into their psyche.
I feel like they could have done a little bit more with it, right? I feel like they could have, because like he was like, oh, I love giving people happy dreams, so I can turn them
And
into nightmares, and
uh,
like they never really got into like the nightmare thing, like where like I wish there was maybe like a scene where he did kill like one of the people, or like almost did, and like they were freaking out and stuff. Um, because that would have added a little bit more depth to that character.
that
Yeah.
would
Because
actually
outside of that, it was just him being super
Who
super powerful.
who had the best dream sequence?
personally, I would say it's tied between I would say it's between Inosuke and Zenitsu. Personally,
I like Inosuke's dream
Yeah,
sequence.
Nosuke's was the best. Also, this was the most realistic. It's like, oh, you actually have to fight the train now. Good luck. He woke up. He's like, I fucking knew it.
oh, dude, and then there's the fact that Inosuke had Zenitsu and Tanjiro as these two fucking henchlings who are fucking stupid, and then
I do notice that with the villains, um, they we have a lot to say about the things that they cause to happen, like the things that they do, and the consequences of what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have all that much to say about them as people.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think that's necessarily all that horrible. Because the plot is more about it is more about how our heroes sort of like the inner psyche of our two main heroes and their struggles.
Yeah.
So that being said, we should talk about Rengoku.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. His entire like his dream sequence. It's like that's his happy dream. You have to think like it's like how messed up he is that his happy dream is telling his dad about him
He being
becoming,
a Hashira.
yeah, becoming a Hashira, but at the same time his dad's like, I don't care, and then like telling his brother that like he can also become like as strong as him, and he's still going to be respected, and it's like that's the happiest thing in his life. Like that is honestly
Messed
like
up.
that's
Yep.
depressing as hell. Like so
Yeah.
like and
And
then
yet he doesn't seem to be depressed about it at
no,
all.
yeah, and that's the crazy part, and it's like his mom
Kyojuro,
his mom telling him that like he could do anything and that she's proud of him is like even crazier. Like because
Kyojuro
that would
is
have been a
one.
happier moment.
Sorry. Sorry to interrupt, Judge, but I'll be honest with you, Kyojuro happens to be one of the most optimistic character I've ever seen in Demon Slayer so far.
Oh yeah.
And I legit like his fiery passion. I mean, considering that he's actually one of the most insane Hashira in the Demon Slayer Academy.
Yeah. He like it's kind of funny when he faces off against Akaze, the final
Akasa.
demon, Akaza.
Right.
Oh yeah, that is a not an E. Anyway, he uh like no matter what Akaza says, he's just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to become a demon. He just like there is no argument or situation where he will not reject that just on the face of it.
You know what this reminds me of? I'm gonna be a bit biblical, but when Jesus starts fasting the 40 days, and then Satan comes to him and tempts him to take his side, and Jesus starts saying, "No, step away from me, you foul demon. You shall not tempt me." And that was exactly what was what Rengoku was doing. He was actually resisting the man's temptation.
The Buddha or Christ figure in scripture is very. That's what I love about not just this anime, but several different animes. I was just actually talking to Lawrence the other night about this. Street Fighter, also Fist of the North Star. They have the whole Buddhist the two no's. The one side is pure emotion, the other side is pure nothingness. But if as a person you want to be in the middle, basically, you're not an angel, so you can't be full of nothing. Anywho, that scene was great. I love that, but I'm upset. Can we mention spoilers or?
No, don't
Yeah,
mention
That's why I'm
spoilers.
I
trying
was
to
very
avoid
upset by a
the
certain
last
thing.
battle
Yeah,
a little bit.
I was gonna say, for those of you watching, something really upset me. Really upset me because I wanted to get to know some characters more. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get the feeling that like I haven't seen anything after this movie yet, but I get the feeling that we're going to get a bunch of arcs with each one of the Hashira.
Yeah. So what I can say is the second season, like this next arc, coming up, basically starts out with like a summary of the movie, because like this movie is so important to the storyline that it needs to be covered.
It's
So the
basically
people that didn't watch the movie kind of have to watch the movie in some ways. They have to kind of recap it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
it's practically mandatory because it's a continuation of the final episode of the first season.
Yeah. So it's a continuation of that, and then also like major events happen, which is very odd for an anime movie. Usually, like you can kind of do like throwaway movies. That gives
Yeah,
you
usually, especially in shonen anime,
Mhm.
both Full Metal Alchemist and Dragon Ball Z did this.
Yeah.
Just off the top of my head, where they
The movie
made
was
movies
super
that
important.
like God, were they even canon?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
technically,
Naruto
both
had
of
a
them were.
bunch of like terrible
Yeah.
movies that like you didn't even care about. Like you did. Yeah, it was all like filler. This is not a filler movie. That's the crazy part. This is basically launching into the second season, making people even more hyped.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and that probably helps this movie quite a bit
yes,
because
like
they're actually like adapting like essential material instead of just like coming up with a filler arc that not only doesn't affect the plot that much, but also doesn't even affect the characters that much, so that the characters end in the same way that they start, so that when you watch the next episode that happens chronologically after the movie, it doesn't get confusing.
Yeah.
well, they did repeat the bits and pieces from the film in TV show in the second season.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like I mean like that just
Yeah.
shows how important this movie is, and
Yep.
like if you can watch this, do this, and then you can kind of skip the first two.
Which is a smart move because, hey, we all watched the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching the film a year ago.
Yeah. So
So,
I just watched this the other night, and I'm just gonna say I'm glad I did. It's a good movie.
I'm very
Oh, yeah.
excited I got more excited to watch the second season after doing
Mhm.
this.
Yep.
So I don't think there's anything really we can really talk plot wise because like it's an hour 30, and we don't want to ruin it, especially going into the next season. So
I mean,
um,
there are a
I-
lot.
I wanna
There-
say
there-
something.
there was-
I got.
Go
yeah,
ahead.
No, I'll go after.
You haven't talked this entire time. Just go.
yeah, go.
I know. I barely tripped in. So I was gonna say, I'm gonna compare this just because it's funny. Well, you consider Pokemon Digimon shonen, right?
I used to watch Pokemon religiously.
Kind of.
That's
Me,
a
I
hard
used,
one.
I wouldn't know where
Yeah.
else to place
yeah,
them.
Yeah,
Just
shonen.
go ahead.
So, I took my mom or rather, my mom took me in the second grade to go see the Digimon movie. I know it's infamously bad in the anime community,
Mhm.
but here's the thing: she fell asleep in the middle of the movie. She'd never fallen asleep during any other movie she'd taken me to. So, like, and I saw this movie, and I'm just like, the caliber of presentation versus those older anime movies that were hyped. Like, I've kind of, how do I put this? I've gotten really, really, really cautious the moment an anime movie or anything promotional gets hyped. Neko knows some of this too.
Mhm.
Let's hype this video game. Oh, it's going to be great, guys. Believe me, it's amazing. This OVA is great. And then you pop it
Yeah.
in, and it's like, this is worse than an average episode.
IGN 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, 400% fresh.
Oh yeah,
And then the actual audience watches it, and it's like, dude, like, who wrote this?
35% fresh, or rotten, I should say.
Yeah, no, this movie was pleasant. I think the only other movie that made me feel this pleasant was the last Eva movie, which I almost didn't watch. I was very angry at the last couple Eva movies.
Oh
Because
come
of a
on,
certain-
piano scene was
No,
nice.
no. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna spoil anything.
Well, it's the third film.
There's a loop. I will leave it at that word. There's a loop in the last two Eva movies, and that put a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this. These
Is
guys
that all it
haven't
did?
changed.
Well,
Man,
all right. Anyway,
No, but anyways,
I'm sorry.
my point was, this movie gave me the same feeling. I was very satisfied watching it. I think if someone were to like take their friends, and if their friend hasn't watched the show and said, you know what, I don't need to watch it, I'll watch the film. They not necessarily need to know. That is a criticism I actually came across when the movie came out. A lot of newspapers were saying like, sure, the acting and everything is great, but we don't know what's going on. Well, the thing is, like, the average person nowadays can see that, guess what's going on, and then go back and watch the show and still enjoy it. I'm just surprised at the overall production, like, across the board. It's great.
yeah, I would say, like, don't watch this if you haven't seen the show.
Yep.
I definitely would. Like, this movie is definitely for people who have already seen the first season of the show.
Oh yeah, you're just gonna be confused. Like, who are these characters? What the hell is going on?
On the other end, like, would you guys agree on this? But even if they were taken to like a movie theater, it's not in theaters anymore, to my knowledge, or if someone showed it to at a party or something, they still wouldn't like.
I think they'd be able to follow
they would-
along.
I think
They
I
would
think
follow
would
along,
follow
but they would
Still
not understand the
enjoyable.
finer details of why they're there in the first place.
Let me put it this way instead, just to kind of flip this. If you were to see this movie without knowing what the show was, without watching the first season, would you be excited to go back and watch the first season? I would argue yes. So there you go. Like, I think that's the
I
best way to put
probably-
it.
Josh said it better than I could. That's exactly.
Yeah,
it.
I probably would want to
Yeah,
go back and watch the show after seeing this.
and I think that's
I want to tell you
where
something
the
funny. My parents
movie would have done a good job. So
after seeing the Digimon movie, there were times where my dad would get irritated because he didn't like certain sci-fi. He just didn't like some forms of sci-fi, and he would see Digimon. He's like, "What the hell is this crap? Why are you watching this?" And normally my mom would chime in and be like, "Yo, like, knock it off. A kid's watching a cartoon." And then she didn't even do that. It was because she'd seen Digimon the movie. She disliked Digimon after that. And that movie had a lot of exposition. The
Yeah.
movie explained what was going on, and adults hated it.
Well, I don't think, like, for the most part, Demon Slayer isn't that hard to understand.
No, exactly. Like,
So
yeah.
there doesn't really need to be a ton of exposition,
Yeah.
for somebody to follow it. They might be confused about things like regarding demons needing blood, or demons having what's his face's Michael Jackson lookalikes blood. They might wonder why on earth Nezuko isn't attacking people. Okay, all right. But anyway, we're running out of time here. So it is time for wrap-ups and ratings.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
usually go first. So, honestly, if we're doing comparisons to other anime movies, this is definitely up there. If we're doing it compared to the show, it is slightly better than the show, and we gave it a hugely good rating. If we're doing it as a standalone movie away from the show, it kind of falls flat, but we also just discussed how if you were to watch this movie, you'd probably go back and be like, okay, now I want to see the show. So I think it does its job without doing what a standalone movie might want to do, at least for the first one. So all of that said, with how well everything is done, the animation, making us like the characters more, I would say tugging on heartstrings for like a lot of it, and actually like giving more details about the characters that you would normally miss. I'm gonna give it a 9. 9.5 actually, yeah, 9.5.
RJ.
Yeah, about the same, 9.5. I'm just like, overall, I'm surprised at the quality of both the series and the movie. Really good job. I haven't seen this much dedication to a shonen in a good minute.
Neko.
I do not remember what I gave the prior show, but I think I gave it 8 or something. I would say it's the same exact score, so it's probably 8. So.
No takes.
No, it's the same as the prior show, just better animation, and it just continues the story.
Okay.
You don't want to give it a little bit more than 8? Just kidding.
All right.
8.1.
Striker.
All right. Having watched this on Saturday night because I needed to relax after a full day of working, I found this movie to be very pleasant. As a matter of fact, it was very entertaining. It was perfectly balanced, as all things should be. I personally like a couple of things here and there. I did find something interesting real quick. The fact that the dude's hand kind of reminds you of things from the Addams Family. Regarding Emu, but that's something else. All right, so my score. I'm gonna before I do that, I'm gonna send you guys off with a bro tip, and that bro tip is easy. Watch the first season of Demon Slayer first before watching this movie, so you can get the context of what the movie is about and regarding how it's a continuation of the first season. That being said, believe it or not, you guys were reading online. That was a 9.5 movie, actually. It is. It's like Jedi 9.5, even with its flaws here and there. It really is something you should watch at least once. If you have less than 2 hours to kill, this movie is it. All right, Will, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. Now, this is a great movie, and it's a great movie coming off of a great show. which is something we don't like. There's good shows nowadays, but we don't usually get shows that are like great. And I really like Demon Slayer. It's good. It is damn good. But this is also a shonen movie that's tying into a show. Now it's continuing the plot, and it's done very well. It's a good movie. I don't know if I'd give it a 9 because I can think of in the context of anime movies, I can think of other movies that I might also give a 9, like maybe Akira or Ghost in the Shell or something. And I don't think it's as good as those movies. But it is a very good movie. And if you've seen Demon Slayer and you like it, you will like this movie. If you haven't seen Demon Slayer, I'd say watch the first season. You'll probably like it if you like if you're an anime fan and you like any kind of shonen anime, you'll probably like it. And watch the if you do like it, watch the movie, you'll like that. So I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think it's good. I think it's quite good. Not not a total masterwork of anime. There are a couple issues I have with it. It doesn't quite reach the level of the level of high art that something like Akira does, but it's good.
Yeah. I guess like I was also just comparing it to like what every other shonen movie has been, and like it beats out every Pokemon movie. It beats out
Your score is your score.
Yeah. So I was just explaining like it definitely. That's why I said as a standalone, it's not top, but as the job it did. So, and I just wanted to clarify that. All right, so that leaves us at a 9. The MAL score is 8.7. The IMBD is 8.3. So we really like the show. We're going to be a little bit more biased, so it's going to be a little bit higher. And then obviously, whenever you're looking at like MAL, it's either going to be like 10s, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever, or I hated the show, so now I'm just downvoting the anime just because I hate it.
Review sites are
terrible.
Review sites review aggregate sites are a worldwide project to rate everything a 7 out of 10.
Yes. So I mean, the fact that it's even close to a 9 shows how good this movie was.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a jerk, but some review sites, they come off like that scene from that one movie where the guy is like offering to do horrid things to get some crack cocaine. Come on, man! I'll give you 7 out of 10, man. Please give me some money.
All right.
Dude.
All right.
Or that scene, $300.
Yep. All
right. We'll see you next month. I hope everyone has a good night, and I hope everyone has a good March.
Yep.
Those